Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, the right to peacefully dissent is a founding principle of our nation. In the centuries since, Americans have exercised this right in order to challenge our country's leaders to live up to the promise of America. As a country, we regularly celebrate and recognize the right for all Americans to use the tools available to them to shine light on what they perceive as government overreach. As a child of the 60s and 70s, I participated in peaceful protests during the Civil Rights Movement and the Vietnam War. I learned at an early age the importance of using my voice, power, and privilege to stand up for what I believe is right and to stand against injustice. Now, as a legislator, denying the House quorum is one of my tools of dissent. As has been said many times today, this is also a constitutional tool that protects the minority from the tyranny of the majority and has been used by legislators since the inception of our state. Breaking quorum is utilized extremely infrequently, is never a decision that is made lightly, nor is it a tool used to fight every legislative battle. In fact, the most recent quorum breaks in 1979, 2003, 2021, and 2025 were specifically about disenfranchising voters. Not once has it been used to push back on other policy issues. Unlike the Oregon Republicans, who broke quorum 4 times between 2019 and 2023 on climate change, COVID restrictions, abortion, and gender-affirming care. The only reason I have denied this body a quorum is when this chamber has chosen to use its power and privilege to silence the voices of my constituents. As someone who believes I am a person of integrity, I simply cannot stand by and let that happen. House Bill 18 seeks to punish legislators for fighting for their constituents and for using a constitutionally protected tool to do so. The fact is, I had an overwhelming majority of my constituents write to me in support of the quorum break. Many even said they would support my decision to stay out as long as I thought was necessary to defeat the redistricting bill. And yes, I'm sure that there's a handful of constituents who did not support the break, just like I'm sure that many of you heard from both sides during the break. But that's the point. We each have a right and a responsibility to represent our districts, and it is the job of the voters to hold us accountable. As much as it may frustrate you, I do not answer to the people in this room. I answer to the people of House District 48, and if they are unhappy with how I am representing them, then they have the right to vote me out of office. But here we are, once again trying to sidestep.
The House will come to order. The chair recognizes Ms. Howard to speak in opposition to HB 18, 7 minutes remaining on her time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I will try to continue what I came here to say. I don't know if it's providential that my voice was silenced, but I will try to complete my statement before it goes off again. Doing what I could to defeat a redistricting map that divided my community and silenced my constituents is why I was elected. I have always said our vote is our voice, and our voice is our power, and I believe that statement to my very core. Protecting the voice of my constituents is what guided my decision to break quorum, and it is why I know I did the right thing by doing so. Those of you who are angered and frustrated that legislative plans were delayed by a couple of weeks have been blinded by the fact that HB 18 undermines the Constitution, and in doing so will intimidate future legislators, and one day that minority will certainly be Republicans, from taking bold action necessary to stop legislation imposed by the majority that they believe threatens their constituents. It is wrong, it is short-sighted. My vote against this bill today will be made with the same clarity that guided my decision to break quorum. I will never support legislation that in one way or another silences the voices of dissent. Doing so would go against my truth and against my oath to serve the Texans that I was elected to represent. Please vote no on HB 18.